On this episode of Ask a Photographer, can I bring someone with me to help pick out my pictures? Hello, my name is Mike Lloyd. I am a professional photographer. I've been doing it for 12 years here in Silicon Valley, California, and this is one of my favorite parts of the whole process, when you come back into my studio to view your photos and pick out how you want to print them. And I've done family photography and children, high school seniors, and engagements and boudoir and personal branding and headshots, just about everything. I don't do weddings, not my jam, but the process is still the same. We go do the shoot and then you come back in to view the photos. So should you do it alone or should you bring somebody with you? And if so, who should you bring with you? So I'm gonna go over the different scenarios and give you my feedback on doing it alone versus bringing somebody with you, different types of people who could come with you, and what that experience would look like and how to make the most out of it. I'm gonna go over families and high school seniors, boudoir photos, and then commercial branding. So let's dive in with families and seniors first. All right, so we just had this incredible family photo shoot. You want to come in and pick out your pictures. Do you bring the whole family in or do you go alone? Let's talk doing this alone first. One term I learned a long time ago is that every family has a chief memory officer. That's usually the mom, the one who takes all the photos at all the family events, who organizes all the photo albums, who keeps track of all of these different records of the family. That's probably you if you're watching this video. So when you come in, you're probably going to make the overall decision anyway, usually. So going in alone might be a really good thing. It'll allow you to make the decisions you want to make, pick out the art you want to choose, figure out, okay, which grandparent is getting which photo, which grandparent is not getting photos. You get to decide how you want to print everything. I mean, you could anyway, even if you bring somebody, but doing this distraction-free might be how you operate best, and I think that's great. However, you may want to bring your family in for the process. However, if you have very small children who aren't going to sit still for an hour, or maybe you can give them an iPad and let them distract themselves, but maybe an hour is still a bit of a stretch. You don't want to be rushed in this decision-making process, and you don't want a grumpy teenager to sit here texting the whole time, rolling their eyes, and giving you a hard time for forcing them to be here. That will influence your decision. And I'm not saying this because then I think you're going to purchase less. Whatever you buy and go home with, as long as you're happy, that's what's important to me. I want you to have a good experience. And so thinking about those things, right? Sometimes the kids are really into it. They love helping to pick out the photos. They love seeing themselves and their parents in the photos, and that could be really good. You know your family better than anybody. So I would really ask yourself, are my children going to enjoy the process? Are they going to contribute? Or are you going to have to babysit while also picking out your photos? Something to consider. Also, you could bring your best friend. This, I think, is a really good idea because they know you. They're almost part of the family, and they're going to help you make decisions with your best interest in mind. Now, that could mean something different to everybody. It will mean something different to everybody. So take their suggestions with a grain of salt, maybe. That's for you and your best friend to work out. The other consideration is money. Some people don't like to talk about money. I wish everybody was comfortable discussing money because it's not a reflection of our worth or value. It is just a currency to get things and do things. Anyway, some families don't want to discuss money in front of their friends or in front of family members. I've had some families in here, the parents will pick things out, send the kids outside while they take care of all the finance part. Whatever you want to do is groovy. But just think about those things ahead of time and communicate that with your photographer. If you don't want the friend to know how much money you're spending, maybe they're not the right person to bring along, or you can figure out something with the photographer where you have a menu that doesn't have pricing on it, but you already know what things cost and you can handle things later. That's just something for you to consider. All right, let's talk boudoir photos. I've specialized in boudoir and focused mostly on that for the last 7 years, and I have seen every combination of everyone bringing somebody in. I've had clients bring their teenage daughters in. I've had them bring their moms in, bring their boyfriends, their girlfriends, best friends. They've come alone, all the different things. So let's go over that. Firstly, coming alone. We are our own worst critic. But that's the whole magic of this experience, is to see yourself in a different way, to focus on the positive things, and to begin building a positive relationship with you and your body. So I definitely recommend coming in to view them alone, because this is another opportunity for you to sit down and say, okay, now I have to see myself. I have to accept this vulnerability, and I'm going to grow from this experience. I think that transformation is incredible. I love seeing it. But maybe you want some support. Let's talk bringing your partner in. I've had this go one of two ways. Either the husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend sits here and just like drools over every photo. They love everything. They're so stoked for how everything happened. They're just cheering their partner on. That to me is the dream scenario, to see a supportive partner in here, just being their biggest cheerleader. I love that. I've also had instances that didn't go so well. And this is totally a reflection of that person's insecurities. They said, you don't really need the photos. One photo is good enough. You know, they're just pictures, whatever. I don't know why I would to spend any kind of money on this. This is all stupid. They didn't get the same experience. You've come in for the photo shoot. You've had this transformation. You've done this incredible thing. The photos are your souvenir from that experience. This other person hasn't had that experience. And if you haven't communicated to them the significance of it and why you did this, and maybe you did and they just don't get it. And again, that's not the purpose of this video, but just something to consider. If they're going to hold you back and not cheer you on, maybe they don't need to be here, and maybe this could just be a thing for you. And that's totally fine. There's no need to feel guilty or shameful that you're hiding something from them. You can just say, hey, I'm going to do this thing. This one's for me. I'm happy to share the photos with you after. And like, don't even make it an option for them to come along, and then it won't seem weird. So just something to consider when you want to invite your partner. If they're going to be supportive, great. If not, maybe they don't need to be here, because you should have a positive experience with this and not feel like you had this incredible magical transformation, but then all of that was squashed before you could walk out with any of your photos. All right, boudoir sesh with your best friend. I love this, because your best friend is always going to come in and cheer you on. If they weren't, they're probably not going to be your best friend. And I'm not saying I want someone to come and cheer you on so that you buy more and spend more money. I mean, obviously, I enjoy that part of it. But the idea is for you to leave feeling just as good as you were during the experience, without somebody telling you that this was stupid, this wasn't worth it, you don't really need this, it was all a waste of time. You don't need that kind of energy in your life, no matter what you're doing. If something makes you happy and someone else doesn't feel it, cool. They can keep their mouth closed and let you enjoy this experience. That's where I'm coming from here. So bringing a best friend along, I love that, because they're going to cheer you on. They're going to tell you, notice things about you in the photos that I'm not going to see, like a certain smirk or grin that you do, and they'll have stories about that, and there'll be inside jokes, and it can be a really fun bonding experience with that friend. And also, the friends usually end up booking a session as well, which I think is great too, because I host different social events throughout the year for my clients, and you get to come in, meet other of my amazing clients, and hang out and eat and drink and be social. But you can also bring your own friend now too, because they're part of the family too, and they get to do the same kind of experience. It's a pretty cool thing. So that's why I love bringing the friends along, but it's totally up to you. How about bringing kids or a parent? Because I've had clients bring their mom or their daughters along. I'd say as long as the kids are old enough. I think it's weird to bring small children to pick out boudoir photos, but some of my clients have daughters who are 16, 17, 18 years old, and they say, and again, there's nothing sexualized about my photography. So you might be in lingerie, but it's still just this strong, elegant, beautiful pose, nothing sexy, sexualized about it. So in that situation, I feel comfortable having their teenage children come in to pick out the photos with them. And they tell me, I want my daughter to have the same relationship with her body. I don't want her to feel shameful. I don't want her to see all the Instagram models on social media or in the magazines on TV and think that she has to look a certain way to feel good about herself. And I want to lead by example and show her that we can do the same thing and we can feel good about ourselves without being those people. So in that scenario, I think that's absolutely incredible, and I would love to bring them in here. You got to be 21 to book a shoot with me. Some photographers will say 18. I prefer 21. But if they want to come in there and help their mom pick out their photos, I think that's super cool. All right. Lastly, let's talk personal branding and marketing. Maybe you've just launched a business, you're updating your website, you need photos to represent yourself for your company. I love doing that because we're telling your story. And I do things a little bit differently here from how other photographers do it. That's beside the point. But when you come in to pick out the photos, this is an entirely different experience because this is no longer just about, do you like the way you look in the photo, but is it marketable and is it on brand for you? And for that reason, I'd say if you're going to bring somebody in to help you pick out these images, bring in somebody with that business mind. Bring in your marketing advisor. If you have an advertiser helping you build your website, create your social media presence, write your ads for you, let's get them on a Zoom call or in the office here. They can help you pick out the photos because they know how the photos are going to be used. And I'm going to be asking these questions all during your consultation, during your photo shoot. How are we using these? I want to make sure I shoot them to be used in the way you need them. This other person is going to have that vision already as well, and they're going to know, oh, we need this hero image. This one's going to be great on the website. These will be great for social media. They have negative space. We can drop text in there. These ones you're looking left, they'll go on this part of the site. These ones look right, they'll go on this part of the site, and so on. Somebody who has that marketing vision already will be able to pick out more effective photos as opposed to ones that you just like the way you look. So having that other person there will be a good second opinion. I'm also really good at picking stuff out like that because I love marketing. That's where my brain is all the time, and branding. And so if we have that conversation, you tell me how you're going to use the photos, I can help create the images with those in mind, so you're already going to be set up for that. But this way you get to pick out the ones you want that are going to be the most effective, or you can just get more photos and figure it out as you go. Totally up to you. But if you're going to bring somebody in for that style of photography, that's who I'd recommend. So there you go. Now you've got more information to make a sound decision on whether you should go it alone or if you should bring somebody else, and if so, who. The last thing I want to touch on, regardless of the kind of photo shoot you do, is the topic of money. And I addressed this a little bit earlier. Some people aren't comfortable talking about money. Some people are. Whoever you're bringing in here with you, make sure you have the conversation with them that you're going to be spending some money. You're going to be buying this from the experience. This is why it was valuable. This is why you want it. Because you don't want them talking you out of things that truly make you happy. And again, they didn't get the experience, so they don't know the magic that really happened. The photos don't mean the same to them as they will to you. On the flip side, if you have a firm budget, you're like, I cannot go over $1,500, tell your friend, hey, this is my hard budget. I'm going to get excited. I'm going to want everything. Don't let me spend more than that. I totally support that as well. I'm not just telling you these things because we want you to spend more money. I want you to leave happy, whatever that looks like. And this could be another good opportunity for this other person to say, hey, I know you love all these things. I know you're really excited. I love them too. Remember, we have this limit. Let's see how much we can get for that and work within those constraints. So another good opportunity to have somebody else there with you to keep you within your budget limits if you like, or to make sure they understand, hey, I'm probably going to be spending more than you would think in this scenario, but after having gone through the experience, this is what it means to me. And then they'll get it and they won't hold you back. Because I've had a handful of clients over the years bring in a partner who tells them, you don't need the photos. They're great, but I'd already tell you you're pretty, whatever. And then there's just this look of dejection. Like, my clients are so sad that they want these photos. They want these beautiful albums and wall art to relive these moments over and over again. And they get talked out of them because the other person didn't have that experience. And then they call me the next day and they're like, you know what? No, I want those. Let's do this. And then we change the order. And it would just be great if we could prevent that from happening in the first place and just set your boundaries and be open. So there you go. That was a very thorough Ask a Photographer this week. I hope you got the most out of it. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comments down below. I am happy to help however I can. And if you want to get in front of my camera, I would love to photograph you. Head over to MikeLloydStudios.com and shoot me a message. You can come out to California if you're not already here, and we can book a special day for you. You are amazing. I'll see you inside.